When sweating connections with plastic or rubber parts in them, you want to make sure to take out the innards, like we did on the shower valve here. That way you don't run the risk of the heat from the torch melting something, like we did on the shutoff valve down here. We didn't take out the innards before we sweated it. It leaked, we had to replace it. It's only a $5 part, no big deal, but this is a $130 valve for the tub and shower here. We want to make sure nothing happens to this. Right now I'm just putting it back together. It's a pressure balancing valve which keeps the water from getting too hot, which is what can happen if someone flushes the toilet or turns on the cold water in another part of the house. And nowadays, some kind of anti-scald protection is usually required by code. The other thing we want to do before the tub goes in is to make sure that our insulation and vapor barrier is all set in the exterior walls around the tub. I'll just jump on that before our tub lugger helpers arrive. But before we install the tub, let's review the standard layout for the supply lines for a tub shower unit. It's smart to put shutoffs on the incoming hot and cold lines. Now, these lines then come up and feed into the main valve. Coming down from the valve is a pipe ending in an eared threaded L fitting which is screwed into wood blocking at least 4 inches above the top of the tub. A threaded pipe will screw into the L for the tub spout. Another line rises up from the valve for the shower. This threaded eared L should be at least 72 inches above the floor.
Yep. Okay, we're going to set Aaron down there. Okay. Nice. We're there.
Oh, beautiful.
Next time, maybe we'll go fiberglass, huh? Yeah.
God. I had to cut away a little bit of the subfloor to make it easier to work under here. The old tub had this access panel, and we're just reusing it. We have to have one of these to get at the trap assembly underneath the tub. There we go. Not only to install it, but also to clean it down the road if you have to.
Now, this tub costs about $700. You can get a fairly decent cast iron tub for between $200 and $300. Now, the reason this one's a little bit more is it's a color other than white. It's called biscuit, which is a little bit warmer than white. It's also a little bit deeper and wider than your bottom of the line cast iron tub. Now, the timing of when to put the tub in is critical. If you're working with, let's say, a tub with one of those big surrounds or a shower stall, you probably want to put those in before you take care of this framing. Otherwise, they might not fit. But a tub like this should fit through pretty much any doorway.
Do it. I had to shorten part of the trap to get everything to fit. This is the trap for the drain underneath the tub. This part hooks up to the drain line, and this part hooks up to the tailpiece coming down from the tub, and they both go together like that. Now, to prepare the drain line for the new tub, we had to cut back the old galvanized pipe and put on another no-hub connector like we did for the sink. Then we had to glue on an angled fitting and a trap adapter. Now the piece of the trap just goes together with nuts and washers so I don't have to do any more gluing.
Well, it's a real good idea to protect your tub once you've got it installed, especially given the fact we've got a pretty nice one here. Well, we added up the cost of all of our tubing and pipe and fittings. Everything came to about $50. Well, I have to admit, still working on doing some of this plumbing is a real mystery to people. I don't know how many bathrooms and kitchens I've done so far, and I still have to look long and hard at this stuff before I know exactly where to run the pipes and what size pipes and tubing to use. So don't be afraid to ask experts any questions you might have. Also, when you're at the home center deciding what you're going to be using, be sure to ask them quite a few questions too. Okay, that should do it.
Okay. Well, we've moved on to the electrical. Like the plumbing, the electrical is done in 2 stages. The rough-in is done while the walls are still open. That's what we're doing right now. And then in the final stages of construction, you attach the fixtures, the lights, the outlets, and the switches. Now, if you don't got your bathroom down to the studs, or if you're just partially gutting your bathroom like we've done here, then you're going to have to feed these cables up behind drywall or plaster. And the best way to do that is to use this stiff electrician's fish tape. And these cables are for one of the lights on the side of the mirror here.
What I'm doing up here is putting a termination cap on for our bath fan. Now, many codes say you don't have to put in a bath fan if you have a large enough window in the bathroom. But even with a window, we really recommend that you go ahead and install one of these. The only thing you don't want to do is run that bath fan or terminate it in the attic space. All you're going to be doing is transferring your moisture problems from the bathroom up into the attic. You really do have to run it outside. And putting it on the roof like this is really the most common approach. Well, I have the termination cap nailed down. Now I just want to get the shingles situated so that they're overlapping the cap on the uphill side, but then the flange itself is laying on top of the shingles on the downhill side. This way, any water coming down will roll over the top of the shingles, down over the top of the flange here, and not get underneath the flange or any shingles. Okay, set it up.
All right. Well, all told, the electrical took us the better part of the day. We spent $55 on the recessed can. This exhaust fan cost about $200, but this is a really nice one. And then we spent about $140 on cables, boxes, and wire nuts.
Okay, I've got it secured. I'm going to get the duct up now.
All right.
I'm connecting the fan to our roof cap using this insulated duct. Now, the reason I'm using insulated duct is so that when the warm, moist air from the bathroom travels up through here, it doesn't cool down too fast. If it cools down too fast, that moist air could turn into water, run back down the duct, and then fall right back into the bathroom. Okay.
So, that's the last of the electrical work. Now we need to get the electrical, plumbing, and framing inspected so we can move on to the insulating and drywall. You done with this hammer?
Yeah, I'm finished.